think we're ready. So, Salum everyone. Welcome to our spiritual practices of the mission session. And in this session we'll be going over a lot of the main practices of the mission, and through these webcams giving real life examples and demonstrations of each part of these. We're going to be going through, first Eunice will be doing the Kirtan, showing the proper method of that and some discussion of it. And then he'll be going through some yoga asanas, some basic asanas, and information about yoga, or however he would like to do it about yoga, and any questions people would have. And then I'll be going through the reminder and the new Tandava and Tandavi dances. And then we'll open up the floor for questions and any other practices that they would like that you would all like to see. So I hope you have questions. Please feel free to interrupt us at any point and ask these questions. This is supposed to be an informational session to provide as much information as possible about these, not just for you, but we're recording this and we'll place it on the website later as information for everyone about these practices. So, welcome, and let us begin, as always, with a moment of silence. To learn the practices of God's new revelation on earth as best as possible. Salut. And so Eunice is going to start off with the Kirtan. Maybe before he starts demonstrating, we can ask everyone to tell us what is the Kirtan, what is its importance, its significance, and all the things you know about it. Anyone? Or did you think that you would just get to sit here and listen? That's never how the mission works.
Kirtan is spiritual dancing and chanting. That's one piece.
Mm-hmm.
By practicing the Kirtan, we can feel very comfortable in a situation where we're in that kind of culture, or with people who are doing spiritual dancing. We can feel very relaxed because we've experienced it ourselves.
Eunice, is there anything you want to say about it before you start?
Yeah, I think there is Kirtan in many cultures around the world. I know even in Muslims, even here, Sufis or the dervishes, they do this kind of dancing, I guess. And usually, probably in every culture, even in the past, like the shamans and even older cultures, like the American Indians, and do some sort of dance and go into trance and even prophesy. So it's a very old practice also.
And if you all remember, in a I'm echoing back from somebody. I think Kiyoshi, it might be you.
Okay, I'll have to mute. I wonder why.
I don't know. Not sure. Test, test, test. Yeah, that's better. I don't know what it was, why it was, but and if you remember, in one of the bits of truth that Maitreya gave in several news briefs ago, he said that shoes, that when you massage the foot, you massage the whole body, and wearing shoes and all that cushioning and comforting sort of destroys that, walking barefoot massage all day. But that can be regained by doing Kirtan, because the Kirtan massages the feet while you're doing it. So it has a physical benefit as well as, a spiritual, and it's great. So.
And Kirtan is great for also like coordinating yourself, because you do a lot of things at the same time. You chant, you do, and you do the movements, you dance, and you could even play instruments while doing it. So it is also like physical, mental, spiritual, all at the same time. So that's why it's a great balancing act, I guess.
And Maitreya also teaches that the kirtan brings the energy all to the same level, everybody's energy to the same higher level, to be ready for meditation or satsang or whatever higher energy things you're doing.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So Maitreya has provided, the kirtan is a very inspirational, flexible thing. It becomes, when you let your soul dance, it becomes mostly whatever you make it. But Maitreya has given some basic recommendations on how to start and what to do if you don't feel the spirit, or, just as a simple manner. And Eunice, would you like to demonstrate those?
Sure, yeah. Just another thing about I noticed like most people don't like to dance, or they say, oh no, me cannot dance. That's probably from also ego. So kirtan or this kind of practice is also probably a good way to what is the word, like negate or lower the ego, I guess. I forgot the other word. Okay, let me start with the demonstration. So everyone can see my feet and my hands, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Can anyone not? How about we say that? Is everyone able to see?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So it is recommended that we start with the hands in the saloon position, right in front of our chest. And what we do from here is with the right foot, you can move the right foot a little bit further in front of you, and then with the back of your what is this?
Heel.
Feet, where it meets your toes, you kind of like hit the ground behind the heel of the right foot. So you go like this, you go hit the ground this way, and then you move the body and hit the ground over here. So you stimulate like the nerve endings at the end of the toes where they meet the feet. And while we do this, we start with this simple movement. We go and we start chanting like Hari Om Shri Hang Om Nam Kevalam. And once you get in the movement, maybe you move your body a little bit more, or if you want, you could even raise your hands like this, like in a prayer mode. You go from here, open it up, and you start dancing like that. So Hari Om Shri Hang Om Nam Kevalam. Hari Om Shri Hang Om Nam Kevalam. Of course, if you want, and if you get in the mood, maybe you can move a little bit more and hit your feet back and feel the glands stimulated, and keep chanting. So of course, when you do this in a group, everyone will be moving like this and chanting, so it will have even more effect on the person that is practicing.
And you can also hit your feet on the other side, right, Eunice? Your toes, if you curl your toes in.
Exactly. Well, you could hit the feet like this. I don't know if you can see it, right? Like this all the way down. So it goes this way and this way. Yeah. It's kind of like you can do it interchangeably. Yeah. I think that's about it. Did I miss anything? Any questions?
And then, of course, you can clap your hands and, stomp your feet or whatever you'd like. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you could even play some, like, I don't know. Turks have that darbuka.
Oh yeah.
You could probably play that. Yeah.
I do that on my legs when I'm doing the kirtan. I kind of play on my legs.
You can. Yeah. Yeah. Get some rhythm. Any questions? Anything else?
And Maitreya says you can go crazy. This is just a base, just like recommendations to get started, but you can, yes. If the spirit dances, then let it go.
You can turn in circles and all kinds of stuff. And I have a question for someone else that asked me, as far as the rhythm, it can be as fast as you want to make it, or as slow, or the sound can be as high or as quiet as, I guess that would be for the person that's leading too on some of that. Does that make sense? I'm asking, actually.
I would think so. What? Maitreya says yes. So, there we go.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, God.
So it's really not a very rigid thing. It's just that, like Eunice said, a lot of people don't like dancing or don't know how to start or something, and that is the basics, and that also massages the nerves at the end of the feet, which is an important part. So now we have our Kirtan instructional video for our website. Hooray.
All right, and all things good. Okay, next, I think we have, yoga?
Yeah, because you wanted to do all yours in case you have to leave. So.
Yeah, looks like. Okay. Okay, any specific questions about yoga or any poses or questions? I don't know. No?
I am curious about the child's pose because I have trouble doing the child's pose properly to the way they do it in the yoga classes, and so I'd just be interested to see, I know that it's in the video too, but you going through it.
Like, what is the problem you're having? Like, you cannot just bend over, or does your trunk get up from your heels? Is there a specific?
Exactly, the trunk up from the heels. I think I've hurt my back in the past, and so I can't seem to get the back of my trunk down like some of the people do.
Right.
And
well,
I mean, also spread my legs a little further in order to, get a comfortable child's pose.
Oh, okay. Do you have tight ankles or knees?
No, I think it's mainly because of the back, actually. I don't know, my ankles might be too tight. Yeah, they might.
Okay, if it doesn't hurt you when you go down, it's probably because of not being flexible enough in the pelvic area over here. Try to go down too much. What I will recommend to do is that you kind of go slowly, one vertebra at a time down. So what you could do is you could grab your toes with your hands, and what you can do is you could first bring the chin a little bit in, and then the chest, and you go down on your belly, and you go all the way down. And while you're doing this, you can get some support from your hands, which are on your heels. So you go down this way, like when you exhale, you go down. Okay, I cannot do it with this.
I was wondering, I was waiting, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
But if you go all the way that way, like that, which is what's gonna happen is that it's gonna keep your stomach in, your belly button is going to be towards your back like this. Your belly button going like in this way. So what you're going to have is that you will keep pressure on your pelvis at the back, which you're helping with this. But don't worry too much about it to keep this down. What you can do is, if you keep your hands up when you're going down like this, you can also let your shoulders go down, and if you just stay there and breathe, let the breathing like slow down, you will feel that your muscles, your tight muscles around the pelvic area, if you can just let go of them, will feel a difference. And if you are practicing with someone else, what they could do is they could put a little bit pressure when you go down like this. Someone else can come in and just put a little bit pressure on your back, and help you maybe flex it a little bit. But all this you could do if you don't have any pain on there. If you have pain, if there's something wrong, if you hurt something, probably it is not because of not being flexible enough, but maybe you've done something wrong. In that case, maybe some other poses might help opening it up. Like in Pilates, we have, if you watch the videos in the Pilates, there are the pelvic movements in and out like that. And you do like simple bridges. You lift the pelvis up a little bit from the ground while your feet and the shoulders are on the floor. Those can help.
That is wonderful feedback, Eunice, because, well, I do both of those Pilates movements, but what I'm thinking is, like, if I go down forward and go as far as I can, and then maybe sometimes get someone to push me just a little further, at least it will loosen it up, and then maybe eventually I will be able to do it the proper way and have the muscles loosen up, even with a little bit, even though there's a little bit of pain there maybe.
No, you shouldn't feel much pain. In fact, no pain. What many people, what I notice in classes here, many people try to force it. Try to, like, if you are doing some sort of like stretching kind of an asana, many people try to force it. But rather than forcing it, you should probably just find the comfortable spot in that pose. Like, let's say the comfortable spot is for you is like this. Your back is a little bit up. First find that, and then concentrate on the breathing. Let go of the breathing. Let it like deepen. First, focus on how you're breathing. You're gonna probably notice that your breathing is not deep enough. So if you just let go a little bit, and stop being too tight maybe, and as you go into that deeper breathing, you're gonna feel that your muscles are gonna be more flexible without you doing so much. You could also, what you could do is you could listen to the mantra, the Hash mantra. That helps greatly because it takes your mind off from the.
Salun Tahira, I think you'll have to mute yourself. We're feedbacking again.
Okay.
Good to see you, though.
Thanks, guys.
Salun Tahira. Yeah, it will help you to also take your mind off from like what I should do, how I should do, all that kind of like thinking in the head, and just let your body relax.
Okay, great. I will definitely make use of those tips and just watch my tailbone, make sure there's not any pain coming when I do that. Could I also use a bolster in front of me, maybe long ways? Would that help at first? Oh, you know what I mean? A bolster for my arms to kind of, so that between me and the floor.
Yeah. I mean, you mean like if I can use a prop
Yes.
to let my
Around bolster, yeah. Okay.
Sure.
I just want to jump in and say that Maitreya said something the other day about yoga. He said that you take the stretch to the point where you feel the energy like stored up in that spot, in that area, and then you let go and feel the energy release throughout the body. And so it's not a case of pushing your body in a physical sense. It's a case of getting to that point of energy, feeling, and then allowing it to release. And he said that's the most important part of yoga, is that part. So just passing on what, a bit of wisdom from Maitreya.
Yeah, I think especially in the end, yoga, practicing yoga or even the asanas are more physical than spiritual. But yeah, yoga is an inner science, so it's definitely working with the glands and just like the energy, and uh, that's exactly what it is. Okay, I guess anything else? Any other questions? Any special pose that I can do as much with this headset?
um, I can ask Eunice. In twist pose,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that good at it yet, but I notice
Mm-hmm.
that when I'm trying to do it, I often feel like I'm about to fall over constantly. You know, I can't seem to figure out where my center of gravity is supposed to be, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know. I think what you mean. One thing I notice is that many people, when trying to do is like sit only one side of the
Hmm.
trunk, so they kind of like take one side of the pelvis up like this, so it's not touching really the ground. They almost like put their heel underneath it, so they kind of bump themselves up a little bit, which I think throws you off balance. What I recommend is that you keep your back all the way at the back, like the pelvis, in a perpendicular to the ground. And what you could do is then when you take this foot up here, can you see me right?
Salam niyama.
Hello, Niyama. Oh, good. I wanted to.
No, I think she was sleeping and there was like a bug or something. Şeydeyiz. She woke up. Okay, hold on.
She can come out, saloon. You know, that's
Still
interesting.
sleeping.
Is she going to go back to sleep? Because I was going to ask about one of the woman's poses.
Okay, yeah, she could. So, hmm? Here she is. Sarahji is gonna ask you what one of the women's pose.
Hi, saloon, saloon. Well, maybe after you finish with the twist pose, I was going to ask about the worship of the Supreme. I wasn't sure what to do with the arms. That's one of the
Oh, okay.
poses Baba recommended for women.
Exactly. Yeah. 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 So going back to the twist pose, when you have this feet up, what you could probably do is that you think of your one shoulder up and the other down. But in the first one, you could only take your elbow, and pull this in while you're getting some support
Okay.
at the back. So in the first, like maybe even in the first two rounds, you could stretch like this and focus on your breathing. The same thing goes here, because when you do this, your belly button, when you're breathing, will want to just like go up, go towards your leg. But rather than that, what you should do is you should let your diaphragm and the upper side of the belly just like, take the breath and then expand over here on the armpits towards your shoulders. So once you get comfortable with keeping the pelvis down and stretching like this and breathe like that, you will get warmer.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even the first two rounds, you will get warmer and warmer. So at the maybe third time you're repeating the movement, then you could take it a little bit up. You could go to the ankle And on the other one, the last one, you could try to reach as you go like even deeper. You could try to reach to the toes, the pinky with your hand, and with the other one towards your belly button.
Okay. I will try
does that
that.
make sense?
That does. I will see how that helps. Yeah. Thank you, Eunice. Thanks, God.
And this is a great pose, I guess. This is one of the poses that really relaxes me.
Mm.
And what many people also do is when you do this, they go like this, you know.
Mm.
But keep the shoulders down and remember to, you know, have your spine like erect.
Okay. Okay. I'm pretty sure I do that, so sounds good. I will improve.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not I think it's not an easy pose and right away. But if you keep that pelvis down, you know, both the sitting bones on the ground, and then keep that belly and focus again on the breathing, and just like Maitreya said, just release it, you know, you will realize, oh, you could move even a little bit up, one shoulder this way and the other one to the back, and it's going to give you that twist.
Thanks, God, Eunice. I'm going to watch this again
Yeah.
in another time and while I do it. Thank you. Thanks, God.
Yeah, salam. So now Niyama, şimdi sana bir soruları var. They got a question for Niyama. The worship of the Supreme. This one. Okay, Sarah G is asking what to do with the hands. Is that right?
Yes. I wasn't sure whether they come up or they're down when they go to the worship pose.
Göstersene. Bir şey olmaz ya. Böyle ya. Okay, Niyama is gonna show it, and I'm gonna try to explain it, I guess. And turn this way. Better than. Yeah. Okay, what we do is in the worship of the Supreme, you keep the hands at the up, and then as you go down, you keep, you know, you extend them.
Okay.
But when you're coming, what we do is when you're coming up, she's not gonna just lift her arms, but come from the spine and open up slowly. But
Okay.
keep the arms next to your ears. So this way you're gonna feel it on your stomach, like the abs, especially. Yeah. And also, just like Kiyosha asked, this is gonna like flex your back muscles.
Mm.
And when you're coming up, this should feel like an ab workout also,
Okay.
and as much as stimulating the glands.
All right. Thank you.
So,
How do you say thank you in Turkish?
teşekkürler. Yeah. But yeah, that's a very good. Even for men, it's a great pose, because I think it helps you to learn to breathe properly. Because when you go down, if you're not breathing properly, most people feel that pressure on their chest, and they go, you know, that kind of like their breath cuts. But but the asana is properly done. You wait like maybe 8 seconds, and then you come up. You hold the breath when you go down, when you exhale. So that's one thing. And also it gives you great also workout over here at the you know, the ab area, especially in the those really weak muscles of the on the sides of the abs.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, God.
Yeah, thanks, God.
So all
Anything else
yoga
specific?
exercises. Can you hear me? I do have one more. Okay, thanks, Eunice. All yoga exercises, like Maitreya says, it's like a massage for the body, which means that releases toxins in the body, but I had heard specifically, so I'm just checking to see if it's true, that the twists especially release a lot of toxins from the body. Would you agree with that? Or I had heard that outside of the mission.
Yeah, I can say twist, like for me personally, is probably one of the best poses that relaxes me, and also, like, stretches my spine correctly, or corrects my spine or my pose. So I really like it. When I first started, I couldn't do that at all. I couldn't really sit, or I could only hold it for a very short amount of time. But as you do it, you really need to realize that that the breathing and how you keep the balance. So I think probably it helps you get rid of those toxins, I will say. But yeah, that's a great pose. That's one of the poses that is recommended by Baba to do daily. The other ones are which are in the video we have for the last feast. We have the shoulder stands. We have the bow. We have the wheel. And we have that twist, especially for men. Yeah, these are recommended. And for women, there are those poses that kind of like the child pose, the worship of the stream, just like Niyama did. You go bend forward. And there's also Yoga Mudra, which is basically you sit in the cross-legged position and kind of like bend forward while pushing the arms to the opposite side. These are all in the videos that we did for the last feast. Unfortunately, we couldn't do videos this feast, but hopefully we will have more.
Wonderful.
Any other pose anyone would you like to see or anything? Otherwise, I think we might need to get going to catch the last train.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Then thanks God, Eunice. That was
thanks.
most helpful.
And
Salam.
Niyama.
And
Shalom, Eunice.
I hope this makes it clear that if anyone has a yoga question over the course of the year, if they email Eunice, he can give them a lot of help because he's very, very good. So.
Yeah, sure. I try my best. Yeah.
Thanks God. You and Niyama have a safe trip.
Thank you. Well, we'll watch the rest of it later.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So okay.
Salam,
Thanks,
Eunice.
guys.
Thanks.
Shalom,
Salam.
Eunice,
Salam.
and Niyama.
Salam.
Okay, let's see. May not have this correct. My camera fell down while Eunice was doing his, but so next we're going to do the reminder, and I think I'm going to do the stuff above first, and then I'll switch the camera and show you the stuff below. And again, all of you here have been with the mission for some time, so you know the basics of the reminder. But just in the past 2 years, Maitreya has added several new things that enhance the benefits of the reminder in several ways, as you will see. And let's see, come on, brother. All right, that will do. So. First, we can, again, as we did with Kirtan, if anyone would like to talk about the benefits of the reminder, why we do it, what it is, relationships with it, the floor is yours. It's kind of like a yoga, isn't it? It's a series of yoga poses. Stretches the body.
At the same time with a great ideation.
Mm-hmm. The 7 pieces of the reminder correspond to the 7 steps of the eternal divine path.
Mm-hmm.
It brings grace into the body as you do it.
Mm-hmm. And it also unifies us as the mission. Just like when everyone together in Islam gets together and does the namaz.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same, similar idea. And again, as... Oh, go ahead, Ma.
It focuses you back to God.
Mm-hmm. And just like Sarahji said that we would not feel uncomfortable doing spiritual dancing and chanting in an Eastern religion or a Native American religion. Similarly, we do not feel uncomfortable in a Muslim country because we do something very similar. So it creates universalism. Tahira says it clears the sinuses and many other benefits.
It reminds you of...
Go ahead, Kirsha.
I was just going to say it reminds you of the goal of the life, what the goal of the life is.
Absolutely. And Maitreya says in Divine Path that those who do meditation and or perform the reminder twice a day or more regularly. So that is the very minimum. We have many, many recommendations in the mission as to what you can do. None of them are meant to bind us, but they're meant to help us. But the very minimum that he recommends is meditation and or the reminder at least twice a day. So, I'm just going to go ahead and go through the poses. Can you tell me how jerky am I in this video? Can you see my movements fairly smoothly? Is it smooth or does it jerk a lot? So do I have to go very slowly?
No, it's smooth for me.
Yes, it's smooth.
Here.
It's smooth?
Yeah.
Okay. How about you guys that are not in the mission center? Kirsha, you said it was smooth?
Yes, Nora, it's smooth.
Okay. All right, great. So begin with palms to the center of the chest in the Salom position, and we begin the reminder this way. We pay our salutations to the Divine Father, who has helped all come from ignorance to the path of enlightenment. Ignorance is the state of unawareness of the reality behind this universe, and enlightenment is the state of pure consciousness. With this next section, we open the hands to the sky. We open our hearts to your grace. And the hands should be fully extended, arms fully extended. You can look straight if you want or up to the ceiling. It's a position of ideation and reaching up to God. We open our hearts to your grace and pray for your guidance in overcoming the power of the tamaguna over our souls. And then in this next section, we stretch backwards, keeping the hands extended. You can bend the knees a little if you want as you go back, or you can keep them straight. And detaching ourselves from Maya. And that is similar to a yoga pose in that you stretch to your limit, but not to the point that it hurts. Stretch to the release of energy. And then the next section, we bow down, placing our hands on the knees. We adore, and you can't, hold on. Just a little lower so you can see. So here, we adore and promise to endeavor, and again stretching to the point of energy released. To help the whole universe, here we come up, hands to the sides, to help the whole universe to reach higher consciousness. And then again stretching back, the same as before, but with the hands to the sides. And eventually, pure consciousness. And again, stretching back to the point of release, and you can bend your knees if you want or not. Now, in reverence, we bow our heads. We go down to the ground, so let me switch it again so you can see. So, in reverence, we bow our heads in front of all those great souls, and we go to the ground and rest our head on the ground. I'm going to go to the side now, from now on, so you can see each part and see my feet. Go down a little bit more. So, this is similar to the child's pose and many of those mudras that Eunice was talking about. If I didn't have my headphones, I'd put my head completely on the ground like this. In reverence, we bow our heads. The hands are to the sides, palms flat, and the toes are either curled inwards like this, or they're outwards like this. This is the easier way when they are like this, and if you are able to, then you curl them inwards like this. In reverence, we bow our heads in front of all those great souls. Here's one of the new parts. In the past and those to come. And when we say this, we roll our head from side to side as if looking in the past and then to the future. This stretches the neck. So with your forehead on the ground, you roll your head in the past and then to the other side. And those to come. Sorry, that probably sounded terrible because it stretched on the ground, and those to come. And rolling it back. So you roll the forehead on the ground in the past and those to come. And whichever side you do this on for the first repetition of the reminder, if you start on this side, then for the second repetition of the reminder, you reverse it. So you'd say, in the past and those to come. And that way, each side gets an equal stretch. Does anyone have any questions about that? Because that's a new section. Does that make sense? Can that be seen clearly in the video, or should I go to the front? In the past and those to come. It's rolling the head on the ground from the forehead. In the past and those to come. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, in the past and those to come, who have helped and will help all to understand your compassion and mercy in your actions and creation. Come up, hands to the legs. Now, we surrender ourselves to you. And, let's see, can I do it here? Go back a little. We surrender ourselves to you. When we surrender, we put the palms in front of us, stretched out, hands upwards together. This be seen? Yes. We surrender ourselves to you. The words revealed to us. The words revealed to us through your prophets and your greatest sign, which clarifies the confusion between all. We submit only to you. With this section, we bring our toes from here to the flat position. So we submit only to you, and we go down farther, as far as we can, with our toes flat, but our hands still stretched outward in this case. We submit only to you, which is formless, nameless, and invisible. You in this state unify. In any other state, humanity will be divided. Also, when you say also, you come up and touch your head to your hands right here. Your hands can just make a fist in some way. It can be like this or like this, but together in a fist. Also, touch your head to your hands. This will prevent us from surrendering to false prophets and teachers. In this step, you bring your toes and they are like this, with the toes curled in this way. So when you're doing the also, it goes, you're starting flat. Also, they come up. This will prevent us from surrendering to false prophets and teachers. However, in reverence, we bow our heads. This is the same as the first part, except that the toes are like this now. In reverence, we bow our heads in front of all those great souls who will teach us how to know you and show us the way to become pure consciousness, as is the goal. And repeat. And then after the third repetition, when you end here, you say Salom. And we don't want to make, as everything in the mission, we try to keep from rigidity and dogma, but at the same time, there are sects in Christianity and sects in Islam whose primary difference is how they do the prayer, how they give communion, how they do the namaz. And so the more we, misinterpret something like the reminder or do it in a little different way or put our own ideas into it, the more possibility there is that we cause separation in the mission by, I do the reminder with my hands forward, other people do the reminder with their hands like this and such. And it causes problems. So that's why we're so focused on explaining each specific part to see and make everyone understands exactly that. So the most important parts are the new steps, because most of you know the rest, which again, the main ones are the in the past and those to come, and then when you're submitting, then you say also. So I'm going to go through it once quickly, as a sort of showing it, but I will have to switch this twice, unfortunately. Okay. We pay our salutations to the Divine Father, who has helped all come from ignorance to the path of enlightenment. Ignorance is the state of unawareness of the reality behind this universe, and enlightenment is the state of pure consciousness. We open our hearts to your grace and pray for your guidance in overcoming the power of the tamaguna over our souls and detaching ourselves from Maya. We adore and promise to endeavor to help the whole, yes, and you can go down as far as you want here, to help the whole universe. Oh, you can actually bend your arms in this case. If you're going down farther than where it touches your knees, just bend your arms, you see, as far as you need to go, as far as you can. We adore and promise to endeavor to help the whole universe to reach higher consciousness and eventually pure consciousness. And let me switch the camera. In reverence, we bow our heads in front of all those great souls in the past and those to come, who have helped and will help all to understand your compassion and mercy in your actions and creation. We surrender, palms out together, up. We surrender ourselves to you, the words revealed to us through your prophets, and your greatest sign, which clarifies the confusion between all. We submit only to you, which is formless, nameless, and invisible. You in this state unify. In any other state, humanity will be divided. Also, this will prevent us from surrendering to false prophets and teachers. However, in reverence, we bow our heads in front of all those great souls who will teach us how to know you and show us the way to become pure consciousness, as is the goal. Salam. And one final thing is, when you're up doing this right here, if you would like to rock back and forth, go up on the toes and get a stretch, while you're doing this part, we pay our salutations, we open our hearts to your grace, we detach. If you would like to, go up and down on the toes, this is another stretch that can be used to stretch out the heels and the ankles and such parts. So there are a lot of opportunities, small opportunities in the reminder to further make it more like a yoga posture and cause stretches and things. Does that make sense? Did I not demonstrate any part of it well? Is that clear?
Yes.
It's clear. I have a question, if I could.
Of course.
Sorry.
No, absolutely.
Lots of questions.
Absolutely.
The part where we adore and promise to endeavor, and you have your hands on your knees, and you had said you can go down further with your back if you want, but the whole time your hands should stay on your knees. You should not do as deep a stretch as taking your hands off your knees and going down toward the feet.
Like this?
Is that correct? Yeah, like down. I probably, sometimes I used to go down as far as the feet in that we adore. So, I don't want to do that if that's going to be something, that's a point of contention later on in the teachings of the mission.
I believe so. I believe it's best to keep the hands on the knees. Probably if you're at the point that you're like going completely down, you could put it behind the knees and get even a further stretch. But that's quite advanced. And again, we're not trying to be so rigid that you have to be constantly worrying about it every time you're doing the reminder or beating yourself up. If you don't, if you miss one of these parts, it's just to understand, like a consistent way to do it so that we're all kind of the same. So I would say, yeah, put it, if it would be most recommended to leave them on the knees and just bend the arms if you want to go further.
Okay, great. Thanks, Scott.
Maitreya, can you say yes if that is true, or no if I am wrong? Okay, yes. Any other questions? And again, we'll put this up on the website, so if anyone wants to see those new parts again or has questions, they will be there. It will be there. But it's good to have this because we don't have anywhere recorded these new additions that further enhance its benefit. All right? Okay, then now we're going to go to something totally new. That it's not exactly new, but for the mission, it has not been really demonstrated for us before, and that is the Tandava and the Tandavi. And I was going to give me just one moment. So this is from Golden Key 7 in the Marriage and Sexuality section. What it says is, therefore, control of the sexual energy and mastering it is recommended for everyone, married or not. Now, how to control it? It can be controlled with a more vegetarian diet, meditation, taking cool baths or using the half-bath procedure, using the recommended dances Tandava for men and Tandavi for women, prayer, asking for God's grace to transform this energy to the higher ones, to the grace, and being one-pointed to do His will. So that is one of the benefits of the Tandava and Tandavi. Later it says that for those who have great difficulty with sexual energies, the exercises Tandava for men and Tandavi for women are very helpful. The Tandavi will also help women in strengthening their pelvic floor muscles after childbirth. And that is essentially what it says in the Golden Key 7, which is one of the main areas where it's mentioned in the teachings. And some other information about the Tandava and the Tandavi. The Tandava is for men only because it has a testosterone-creating effect, and therefore should only be done by men. It's a vigorous exercise. Its basic root is in the Hindu teachings, in which it is said that Shiva dances the Tandava, and you can see you've probably seen many sculptures where he is in this posture, and that is him in the Tandava posture. And often there are pictures or images of him in this dancing posture, and underneath his foot is a demon or a devil. And that's part of the ideation of the Tandava, that you throw your problems at your feet and then dance on top of them and destroy them vigorously and powerfully to rise above them. It also, and it has the effect of transforming lower energies to higher energies. It's vigorous and it has great ideation. And the Tandavi is similar, but rather than being vigorous, it's graceful, and so therefore promotes more of the feminine energy rather than the testosterone. And it also has a great effect of strengthening many muscles, groin muscles, leg muscles, and other parts that have many great physical benefits as well as mental. So even though Tandavi is for women, I'm going to demonstrate the basics here and then show some videos of some Indian dances that are similar, just as a demonstration. But the Tandavi should mostly be done by women. Men can do the Tandavi in private if they would like, but it is for women, essentially. Maitreya, I don't remember what you decided about that. I'm not sure if I said the right thing. So let's begin with the Tandava. This is the male dance. So, to do the Tandava, you start here with your hands in the Salom position and prepare yourself. Then you stretch your hands out to either side, one open faced and one, let me see, can you see both my hands? Now can you see both my hands? Yeah. One open, like this, and one closed in a fist. The ideation is that in your open hand you hold a skull, symbolizing death. And in your closed fist you hold a weapon. The traditional weapon is a dagger, but Maitreya has said that it can be any weapon that has a spiritual ideation that you're using to fight and struggle against darkness and problems in your life. And this symbolizes life. So on one side of you is death, on the other side of you is life, and the struggle and the weapon you use, and in between you dance. The dance of life. The next step is breathing in once you're prepared. You jump as high and as vigorously as you can and kick your legs up as high as possible so that they touch your bottom, if possible. And then you land kneeling in a kneeling position, like this. And then immediately afterwards you do the same thing and land back on your feet. Immediately after that you begin the actual dance, and the dance can be related to the Hari Om mantra because there are 4 sections in which the first one is you jump and bring your leg up like this, and then you jump again and bring it up even higher. And then in your next jump you switch legs, and then again jump again and bring it higher, and continue that dance. As you can begin slowly if you would like, and then speed it up, and you can relate it to Hari Om Shri Hung in such as Hari Om Shri Hung Om Nam Keva Lam. Hari Om Shri Hung Om Nam Keva Lam. And again, you're ideating that your problems are below your feet and you're destroying them, dancing on top of them. And as you speed up, it becomes more and more vigorous, and you get out of breath, as you can see I am. And the focus should be more on control of these 2 steps. It should not be a really wobbly dance all over the place. It should be controlled. 1, 2, 3, 4. And control your leg. That'll build the muscles. Another thing you should not do is turn your hip while you're doing this. You'll see many videos of the Ananda Margis doing Tandava where they turn their hip or their legs are really floppy. But that's not how Maitreya recommends. He recommends you keep your hips straight forward and only bring up your leg. See, my hips are still forward, but my leg is brought up, and the goal is to try to touch your shoulder with your heel. You'll have to give me a moment. I'm out of breath. And with this control of trying to touch your shoulder with your heel, you create the dance. If someone could say Hari Om Shri Hung for me, I'll do it for a few moments. Could someone just say it? Hari Om Shri Hung Om Nam Kevalam. Repeat it.
Hari Om Shri Hung. Wait.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll get it in the second time.
Hari Om Shri Hung.
Hari
Om
Shri Hung. Om Nam
Om.
Kevalam. Everybody can do it.
Hari
Hari Om.
Shri Hung.
The problem is that you're both in a different part of the world, so you're not matching up when I hear it. I'm sorry to say.
Okay.
So
Okay.
just one person, please.
Guma.
Oh. Hari Om Shri Hung. Om Nam Kevalam. Hari Om Shri Hung. Om Nam Kevalam. Hari Om Shri Hung. Om Nam Kevalam. Hari Om Shri Hung. Om Nam Kevalam.
Are we not lined up at all? Am I hearing it differently as you guys are?
No, that was great.
Okay.
Look lined up to me.
Yeah.
So after you finish, once you reach the point that you can't do anymore, you stop here for a few breaths. You catch your breath until you feel strong enough to do it again, and you finish the Tandava the same way you started with the great leap, and then you're finished. And from this point, it's recommended that you meditate for a few minutes in order to direct that energy that you've created to the higher centers and higher chakras, because there is a lot of it. You can feel the energy being created as you do it. Are there any questions about the Tandava dance? Again, I am the only man here, and me and Maitreya, but this will be for the future, and Samuel, but this will be for the future mostly. So. Okay. The Tandavi for women is very similar, but also different. It's not jumping, it's grace. So the Tandavi begins in the Salom position. Then you stretch the arms out like this. And let's see, can you see both my arms? I believe so. No?
No. There.
Okay, there we go. Okay. And so with the hands up in a graceful position as this, then you step out and bring the arm in. No. Do I start like this? Uh-oh. You're going to have to give me just a moment. Down. Down as in this way?
Yeah.
Okay. Down, and then here and up. Is that correct? That's correct. Yeah. So it goes together with the foot like this, and then
Maitreya said yes.
great, thanks God. And then you tighten and bring up in a control position and bring the hand up like this. Okay. Great. And then you do the same thing on the other side. So bring together, and then up, and tighten, and bring higher. And don't fall over like I just did, and then come back. So here, back, here, back. And it's a very tight, controlled movement up, where you tighten and control, as well as bring the fingers like this, and you bring the heel off the ground, and back, here, and back, here, and back, here, and back. And what we really need is an accomplished female dancer, probably, perhaps. Oh, okay. And it's the same idea as in Tandava, where when you're bringing your leg up and then stretch, you try to touch your heel to your shoulder as high as you can, and feel the pressure and the exertion in your muscles around here and in the leg. And it's a great strength builder. And what we really need is a female dancer to be able to demonstrate this in a much more beautiful and graceful way than I can, that we can use as a video. This is a very temporary solution until we find someone of that. So we ask everyone to practice this dance, and if you feel you've become proficient in it, then make a video and send it to us, and maybe we might use it because we need one. Or if you have a friend that's a dancer that you think might be interested, it's a very helpful dance, and it has a similar idea as the Tandava, but it promotes the grace instead of the testosterone. And to give you another idea of what it will look like, I'm going to show you two videos, and I'm going to copy these also. Oh, Shirin asks, how does it end? That is a good question. And I would guess that, well, give me just a moment. Okay. So after you're finished, and this also has the same rhythm as the Tandava does. So, you know, Hari, Om, Shari, Hung. Om, Nam, Keva, Lam. Hari, Om, Shari, Hung, Om, Nam, Keva, Lam. And you end when you're finished, when you've reached your point of limit or tiredness or exertion. You stop, come to the center, say Salom, and probably it's recommended to also meditate for a few minutes after that to develop the grace and energy. Right. And so now I'll show you some other videos that will show you other things you can do with it, because this is not very rigid. The Indian dance in general has a much relationship to this type of dancing, and indeed we encourage those graceful dancers and those that are interested and want to take this further to add to this and take a creative interpretation of it. And I'm going to link you 2 videos that Maitreya found that show some idea of what it might look like. And they're both in the chat. I'm going to show my screen to show a couple highlights of them, although it's going to be a little jerky, so it's not going to work perfectly. But come on. Can you see that, or is it just black?
Yes, there's a screen with trees.
No, that's not correct. Oh, that's why. Okay, I see.
Yes, there it goes.
Is this just black? There we go.
It is now,
Okay.
but it wasn't. There it is.
Okay, so do you see this pose that she is in right now? It's a little blurry, I know. But that is like a very high, like that is the Tandava pose, but she's very strong, very good. She has her leg way up, but that's good. And this video, it's a more rigid video. It's more her movements are more robotic and less graceful, but it does show some of the things that you could do as an interpretation and an extension of the dance. And then the second one, right here, again, this is a much more graceful dance. But again, you can see a similar idea of, here, I'll play just a little bit of it. There. Do you see that pose that she's in right there? That's also the Tandavi pose. And near the end, she holds this pose for quite a long time. Do you see that? And this whole video, again, is another possible example of additions and flexibility that can be shown in the Tandavi dance. These are both great, and we encourage you take a look at them. And that is the Tandavi. So those are 2 dances that have not really been demonstrated before, but are also part of our teachings and have great benefit. Any questions? What do you guys think? Oh, I can also show them that. Sure. And I'll show you one more thing as you're thinking of questions. And here's a picture showing the similar idea.
So we need to grow an extra arm? 2 extra arms.
2 arms, actually. And wear a lot of weird wispy clothing. Yeah.
That was beautiful. Oh, thanks, Noor. That was great.
In this case, the leg is more pointed down than up, but I think that in general, it's more, remember, that the goal is to try to touch the heel to the shoulder, not in a way that hurts, but to your point of limits. So in the correct Tandavi, in the most correct Tandavi, in the basic Tandavi, yeah, you touch the heel to the shoulder as much as possible. But this is just a good picture of a demonstration. Okay, it's mostly just to show the grace. This picture, is not so much the specifics. The specifics you refer to the video, the demonstration I did, but this is mostly to show that it's not supposed to be a rigid thing. It's supposed to develop grace. It's supposed to exude grace. Yes. It's not something I can demo very well. I can only give the basics. That's why we're hoping that another much better dancer can do this. Does that make sense? Be honest. Is that clear in your minds? Could you do it right now if you had to?
I don't know if I could do it, but it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
All right. Great. And hopefully those videos will help if you watch them to see further. So that's what we had planned for the spiritual practices session, these 5 practices. And now we open up the floor to any other questions you might have about any of these practices or anything else in the mission that you might want to know more about. If you want to know more about how to do the rosary, if you want to know more about the meditation process, if you want to know more about pronunciation of words in the mission or anything like that, we are here to help. And please ask, or if you need a re-demonstration of any of the things that we discussed or anything like that, please go ahead. Yes, the technology is amazing that it allows us to do this. Even just the very basic one that we've done here, not perfected at all. I am neither the best Tandava or the Tandavi master, neither of them. But hopefully it shows the basic. So thanks God.
Thanks God.
And remember, we have to walk the fine line between rigidity and correctness, that sweet spot. We keep things as close to the purity of the teachings as possible and try not to cause disconnect. But these spiritual practices are for you. You are not for them. So at the point that it becomes so rigid that it becomes a burden, you've gone too far and it's approaching dogma. So find that sweet spot.
That makes sense.
Okay. If no one has any questions, then that ends the evening session, and we have a little time to prepare for the readings and the Pilates and such tonight. Anything else?
Just all thanks to God. It was a great presentation.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thanks God.